Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is the second official P&L report. Today we're going to go over sourcing. George, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself really fast?
Yeah, my name is George Lombardo. You can find me at Flipping Footwear on YouTube. I sell shoes. I flip them, buy them as cheap as I can, and sell them for as much as I can. So that's what I do on eBay most of the time. I'm also working my way into FBA a little bit. So that's what I do.
All right, and if you guys don't know, my name is Michael Pierce. I run a online community mostly through YouTube that's designed to help new sellers succeed online. I kind of do a transparent documentation of my online sales, the mistakes I made, and I try to do this to help new sellers not make the mistakes that lots of people make. And so today we're going to go over sourcing. I myself deal with a lot more wholesale goods and um, kind of online arbitrage, I guess you would say, and George is much more into thrifting. So we're kind of going to go over our own process, how we find things, and just give you some advice. George, do you want to start out with talking about thrifting?
Yeah, sure.
And I'll chime in and
Uh,
ask questions as well because I thrift sometimes.
Probably 95 to higher percent of my inventory comes from Goodwill or Salvation Army. I rarely go. I mean, there's a couple other local places that I'll go to, some local thrift stores, but
Okay.
I would say 95% of everything I source is from Goodwill.
Really? So there's not a lot of mom and pop shops near you, or?
No, there's not a ton, and when they are, it's usually like a boutique style, and they just charge too much.
Oh, okay.
I live in Austin, Texas, and thrifting and kind of the hipster kind of style is big, so they're willing to pay a little bit more. Most of the people that are in my area, so they get away with it. They'll go and spend $15 on a shirt or whatever. So I mostly stick to Goodwill and Salvation Army because those are the better prices, other than a couple others that are they're still pretty decent. Um, Lately, I've been hitting up the Goodwill Blue Hanger Outlet or Weigh and Pay. It's where you go in and you basically just fill up your cart with whatever you want, and you go and you pay by weight. It's not per item or anything like that. Most everything is pay by weight. Every once in a while, you'll come across some things like I think I bought an air mattress there once, and they charged me like $5.99, just a flat rate fee. And some electronics too. They'll be like, "Oh, that's $10." I'm like, "I don't want it then.
Oh,
That's
so
10 bucks."
actually sometimes they don't charge by weight there?
Yeah, it just
Oh,
depends
I
on
didn't
what it
realize that.
is. Like stereo or something like that. It's like they just come up with the price right there at the register. I'm like, Okay, that's no thanks. You can keep it. You would have made the sale, but now you're not. So I've been doing that a lot, and almost everything that I'm getting from there, I'm sending into FBA as used electronics.
Okay.
Also, some they do have a lot of books there. Those are not by weight though. And it's different across stores. I know. Mine is 5 books for $1 or 99
Oh,
cents.
okay. That's cool though, because I mean, some books could be worth a lot of money.
Yeah, they can. So I kind of go and I basically just look through the nonfiction and religious books. I just kind of pick those out and I throw them in my cart. So that's kind of how I process the weigh and pay. I'll basically, if you've never been to a weigh and pay, it's pretty crazy, especially around. I don't know. Maybe they only have them in cities. I'm not sure.
Way to
But
scare everyone already.
you know what?
You already scared everyone away from the weigh and pay.
No, it's. I'm just saying it's really busy, and you've got to be willing to give up some of your personal space because people will be right next to you and reaching across to you and reaching over here
Yeah.
and getting all up in your bubble. In a thrift store, you can kind of keep your distance, but uh, so what they do is they have rows of these blue bins, and they're really big bins, probably 6 feet in length and maybe 4 feet in depth and a couple feet deep. That don't make sense.
Wide. They're 4 feet wide.
Yeah, like 4 feet wide and like 2 feet deep or something. Anyways, and they fill them up with goods, and it's basically their last chance to be sold to the public. After that, they just, I don't know, trash it or whatever. I'm not sure,
Okay.
but I think actually their clothes they end up shredding and mailing them over to like Africa or something as as a resource. I don't know,
So there's these
but
giant bins filled with stuff they're dumping in there.
yeah, exactly, and it's their last chance to be sold to the public. So what they do is they kind of they bring out a row at a time of new. Well, it's all used stuff or whatever, but new to everyone that's available. And you can't go shop on it immediately. It's kind of, you have to wait for them to be ready, and so everyone's has to stand behind a line, and as soon as they say you can go, I mean it's like a beeline for the best stuff. Everyone is racing, not running. They're like, if you run, you get kicked out. But so everyone is forcing their way to the best stuff and keeping it and throwing. So what I do is sometimes I get into it and I'll be right in there with everyone else. Other times I'm hanging back and I'll go in afterwards and get what I like because a lot of times they leave a lot of really good stuff. Maybe they're not there to resell. They might just be looking for things themselves. But um,
Yeah, I think that's a mistake a lot of people make is when they thrift, they assume that everyone's a reseller, which isn't
exactly, and
not
and
true.
most of the time they're not. They're shopping for themselves, or I've seen people call, "Hey man, I found this shirt. I think it's your size." So a lot of the times they're not resellers, but at the same time, I feel like there are a lot of people that do flea markets there. I'm not trying to be racist or anything here, but almost everyone there is Hispanic.
Oh my God.
Including me. I'm Hispanic.
Um,
I speak Spanish.
do you want to talk a little bit about like your process? Because I feel like a lot of people are
Yeah.
afraid to go because they're worried they're going to get overwhelmed. They don't know if they're going to be able to scan things. So do you want to talk about what you do to be able to handle those
So
items?
yeah. So the first time you go, you kind of want to get a feel for how it goes, kind of learn the rules. There's not very many, but it's just like no running. You gotta stand behind the line before a row is released. Um, Usually, what I do when I get there, I will kind of scour the bins that are currently open because usually half of it they're not changing frequently. It's everything that's just been sitting there. So I go and look through those first. And during the week they have shoe bins, and since I do shoes, I go through and I look and I pick out the best ones. I've found some really good shoes there. Some stuff I flipped for like $50. Excuse me. And I end up paying like maybe 250, $3 per pair because, like I said, it's by the pound. So usually a pair of shoes is between pound and a half, to 3 pounds usually. Um, so I'm not paying very much as opposed to my usual, which is between 6.99 and 9.99 in the thrift store itself. So so I'll go and like I said, I'll go and look through all the bins, try to find what I want, and I don't look things up immediately. If I think that it might be profitable, I'll grab it, I'll throw it in my cart. So I'll fill up my arms, I'll throw it in the cart, and once I'm done, then I look everything up. Or once I get to a point where, uh, things are kind of slowing down, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go check out what I got in the cart. I'll go to the sideline or to a table. They have like a folding table there. So I'll go there and I'll just kind of process everything in the store. I'll check prices on Amazon. And at the same time, make sure everything's complete because you can't sell incomplete items on Amazon. So make sure you have all the outlets, remotes, whatever. If you don't have it and it's still a decent profit, you can sell it on eBay. You
Yeah,
know,
and you can sell parts of things on eBay, like food
exactly.
processors, blenders, all those things you might
Yeah,
find.
yeah.
Um,
So that's kind of what I do. Once I'm done scouring everything in the beginning, then I start jumping in the lines of new bins that are coming out, and kind of get into the muck with everyone else.
so you're actually able, though, I think a lot of people worry about this. You're actually able to fill up your cart and then look it up. And I'm echoing kind of bad
Yeah,
on your end.
yeah,
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize they'll have time to look things up. They're worried they're going to have to rush in there.
no, absolutely. I mean, you gotta. I mean, I guess manage your time kind of. I would say every 15, 20 minutes they come out with a new row of bins. Um, at least in my store. I don't know how frequent it is in other stores, but my store just happens to be huge. They've got, I mean, it's humongous uh, for a blue bin hanger.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but like I said, a lot of it is stagnant. They really only switch out between maybe 4 or 5 lines, and like I said, it's every 20 minutes. So usually, whenever I'm tired, like I don't want to be there anymore, that's when I go and I stop shopping and I go to my cart and I look everything up and I go. Usually, looking everything up takes between 30 minutes and an hour, depending on how much I have.
Oh, okay.
So you can spend some time in there. I'll spend as little as 2 hours to 6 hours in that store.
Okay.
But at the same time, you can walk out some really great stuff.
So you usually buy shoes. Do you want to talk a little bit about the main, just kind of list some brands to look out for shoe-wise? Some people might be interested in buying shoes.
Yeah, the I would say the most profitable shoes are going to be boots. You want to look for like some Red Wings, uh, Ariat boots. Justin boots can be profitable. They probably sell for the least amount between Ariat and Red Wing, and most of those I know Red Wings are definitely made in the USA, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Justin's are as well. I might be wrong, but anyways, whenever you find boots that are made in the USA, that's always a trademark. Like it's a really good advertising point of view. Like, oh, made in the USA, everybody loves that. Want to be patriotic, but yeah, Salvatore Ferragamo's. I just sold a pair of those for $100 the other day. They're just loafers. Oh yeah, I got those at the Wayne Pay actually. So I paid like $2.50 or $3 for them. Sold for a hundred
Yeah.
bucks.
I think that's the point. If you know what you're looking for at the Wayne Pay, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely. And they weren't in terribly great condition either. There was some wear in the heels, and I took a picture of it and put it on eBay. So they knew what they were buying. And I actually put them up for 199 OBO or best offer, and just to see if I could get it because there were some that were selling for that much. I knew that mine weren't in that great a condition, but I was like, oh, I wonder if I can get it. So I just put it up there with the price, and I got an offer for $100, and I took it.
Nice.
That's really great profit. But yeah, I'll spend up to 20, maybe $25 on a pair of Red Wings. Those can bring you in a good 100 to $250, depending
Yeah,
on the
those are
model you
nice
get.
boots.
Other brands that sell well for me are Clark's, Merrell's, Vask. Vask hiking boots do really well. They sell for a good profit, and even if they're in decent, moderately used condition, they can still bring in a good profit. So those are some brands to keep an eye out for.
Okay. So, I mean, I do thrifting sometimes. It's definitely not my main source of like sourcing, but from time to time, I'll stop at the thrift store just because I enjoy looking through it. I like to look for video games and stuff because I know exactly what to look for. But my main source of sourcing is definitely like online, mostly eBay. And I think a lot of people overlook the fact that you can source really good deals online. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit and give some advice here because a lot of people really miss the opportunity to get stuff from their house. Um, First of all, depending whatever field you're in, if you can get lots of items on eBay, then there's opportunity to get them really cheap if you know what you're looking for and how to search for listings that were misplaced. The number one thing is I use an auction sniping program, which a lot of people use. It is not against eBay's regulations. Most importantly, you can use a free one. I use Gixen, which is Gixen.com. You just sign up, basically put the item number in, your max bid. It'll bid within the last couple seconds to win you the auction if no one else is competing. And another really important thing is you're using the auction sniping program. You're looking through auctions that are ending soonest, and you're searching all departments. A lot of people narrow their search down, which isn't good for when you're looking for cheap lots. And the reason is you want to look for people who misplaced lots. So I will search like video game lots in all departments. And then I'll hit ending soonest and I'll look through them. And a lot of times there's good lots that people accidentally put in the wrong category, so no one's bidding on them. And then you can put the item number in, put in your max bid, and hopefully you'll win the auction. Now what I do typically is I'll spend 2 hours, 3 hours going through auctions for all sorts of different stuff, video games, books, whatever I'm looking for, and I'll set my max bids on them all, but I make sure the max bids are only to where I'll make profit. I make sure I don't get emotional about the auction lot. I don't sit there and bid and click the button, which really helps me keep from overbidding. And then I'll wake up the next day, or in a few hours I'll see I either won a bunch of lots, I didn't, maybe I won one or two. The point is, whatever lots I won, I know I'm making a profit on, and that's what matters. Now, specifically with video games on eBay, it happens often that people list them in the wrong category and no one bids on them. I'm not sure why, but there's good opportunity probably to do this with most types of items. Do you ever source online at all, George?
I have a bit. I've tried a couple on eBay. I found a good pair of Merrills on there that I ended up buying for $9.99 free shipping, which
Okay.
is absolutely terrible for the seller. He made a mistake for one, starting the auction at $9.99, and then two, starting it with free shipping.
Yeah.
I was the only bidder. Got it for $9.99. A few days later, he says, "Hey, UPS says they lost it." I'm like, "You didn't even say you shipped it." I think he realized his mistake and decided to cancel the transaction.
And that'll
Uh,
happen, but I think the main thing is you can get good deals because people don't realize what they have or they don't care. They just want to get rid of it. A lot of people selling on
yeah,
eBay are just clearing out their garage, clearing out their
the
house. They don't
the
care.
great part about shoes is that people don't realize that they hold their value. That's why they donate, Salvatore Ferragamo's or Merrill's or Red Wings. They're just like, these are used. Nobody's gonna want them, so I'm gonna chunk them or throw them in just throw them to Goodwill or something like that. They don't realize that they're still worth money. Shoes hold their value fairly well.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you were saying the other day that sometimes in a lot of video games or something, you'll see there's one item that's back there that's worth the entire amount or something like that, and the rest is just profit.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's a good point. So, for me specifically, I'm very knowledgeable in the field of video games, specifically retro ones, and I can look through lots very quickly and point out the things people don't realize are valuable. So, like accessories or rare attachments, or maybe a rare game, and most common people buying video games, reselling, look up video games on their phones, so they might not know which games are rare. Whereas, like I grew up my dad collected rare video games. I enjoy rare video games, so I know a lot about them. And so I'll look for lots with that one item that's worth a lot of money that no one realizes, and it covers the cost. And so what I'll do is I'll bid how much that item is worth, and then the rest of it will be profit. Now, a lot of times I'll get it for way less than that item, but even if I paid the total price for that item, I would still make profit on every other extra item in that lot. And that's
Yeah,
kind of like
that's great.
my bidding strategy when I look for video games. I think usually, I guess this will be good to talk about too. Usually, when I'm looking for lots in video games, I'll look to spend between $100 and like $400 for large lots, and then I'll look to spend only around $20 for smaller lots of stuff. Like, if I'm looking just to spend a little bit of money, source some extra stuff, I'll look to spend $20, and I'll keep looking until I find a lot that makes good profit off $20. For me, I'll spend more time looking for items that'll turn a profit with the amount of money I have to spend rather than just bidding on everything I think will make money.
Yeah,
I
cool.
think uh, I think for new people who are watching this, it's really important that you leverage your money and use it for the appropriate items. Make sure you're sourcing multiple different things. Don't put all of your money into one item type. It's a good way to go out of business if you take all your money when you first start out and spend it on one item, and then if that item flops, you're screwed. So look to, put your money among multiple things and then learn the markets and learn how to flip these things for a profit. And
Yeah,
to
and I would
anyone, oh, I'm
definitely,
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, definitely stick to stuff you know. Don't. trying to reach out just because someone says, "Oh yeah, I sell this stuff all the time." It doesn't mean that you're particularly going to do it right. So either research what you're going to do before you buy. Um, for example, I saw someone post um, on one of the groups, Facebook groups today. They posted a picture. Oh, should I get these or no? And I'm like, no, you don't want to you don't want to go for that brand at all. They won't bring you any money.
Yeah.
Some brands, they'll sell for a lot at retail price, but they don't have any resale value. Um, I know, Mike, in your video today, you were talking about you sold a Abercrombie and Fitch jacket.
Yeah.
I I don't know how jackets go. I would imagine that those do fairly well, but when it comes to like shirts, like Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister shirts and things like that, I've heard that they don't really do well
I
unless you're
feel
like selling them in lots and stuff.
I think I mean I guess it depends on the shirt. Like if it has a nice theme or it looks nice, usually it'll sell. Lots of people like graphical shirts, but I think brand wise it'll sell, but it has to be priced right. I think the problem is everyone expects to get full retail for used goods. It's not how it
Right.
works. Like people go on eBay to get a deal, so you need to price accordingly. But I do want to say
Yeah,
something
I
really
think they'll
fast.
definitely sell, but they won't be as profitable as other
Yes.
brands. And that's
Yeah, and
kind of
that's
what I'm
true.
trying to get to, I guess.
But in order to make that differentiation, you have to have an expertise in that field. And I want to talk about that 1 second. To everyone watching in the chat and everything, if you have questions, you can post them. We'll go through them shortly and answer all the questions that you post. So I seen a question about drop shipping and stuff, and you don't even want to get me started on that right this second. So uh, let's continue with the conversation. But all right, what was I saying? Oh, about like having an expertise in one field. Um, you're right about you don't want to start branching out everywhere, especially when you first start. You will get so lost in what to buy. You won't know what to spend your money on. You won't know where to start. So I always argue it's better to learn about one field, get really good at it, and then start branching out because then you have that one domain that you're going to make money on, and then you could branch out from there. And a lot of old school pickers would be like, well, you want to be able to get anything that's worth value. That's true, but you're not able to do that efficiently until you've been doing it for 20, 30 years and you know what has value in all those fields. So for me, it's more important to be an expert in one field and work your way around it after you've mastered one type of item.
You know what I started selling, Mike, when I first started, was furniture. I had a little
Okay.
bit of storage
Not on
space.
eBay, that's for sure.
No, 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 not on eBay. This is pre-eBay. I sold everything locally on Craigslist or Facebook. I would troll the Craigslist free listings, and I would go pick up free furniture and then sell it on Craigslist or Facebook. I
Yeah,
had a
and I mean,
truck and straps, and I would go with me and my piano dolly, and I would load it all up into my truck and take it to my storage and list it on Craigslist or eBay, and I would sell it. Everything was profit.
well, I'm the type of guy that would have paid you to bring a couch from my house to like my new house because I don't like moving stuff like that. I would rather have pay someone to do it. So I mean, there's always a market for things like that.
Oh
The
yeah,
the main thing there's a market for are things people want, not what they need, what they want, and things people don't like to do. Those are the two main markets you
exactly.
can always do well in because people want stupid shit, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say, and people are lazy. So
Yeah, I've made a little bit of money moving stuff for people, and it's not always because they're not willing to. It's just that they don't have a truck. They only have a four-door car or something, and
they say they're not willing to. They don't want to do it. It sucks. Moving stuff sucks.
it does. I don't mind working hard though. I'll do it. They
Yeah,
pay
I
good
mean you
money
can make good
usually.
money off hustling. That's how you fill a need. That's how you
Yeah.
market. That's how you make money. That's what selling is.
There's
Even if
a
it's a
uh,
service.
there's a car that's not wrapped, but it has a bunch of ads on it,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
about picking up poop.
What?
Yeah, they'll go clean your yard and pick up all your poop or something.
Oh, I mean, see, people don't like to do that. There's a market for
Exactly.
anything people don't like to do. So the other way I source, well, not specifically so much anymore, but it's something a lot of you are going to have questions about. I probably get the most questions about it out of anything is wholesale. George, have you ever bought wholesale at all, or no?
No, the closest that I bought from wholesale was a liquidation warehouse in town. I bought a pallet of stuff, and it wasn't terrible. It took me a little while to sell everything, but I did make money on it. It's just some of it was difficult because there were some broken parts in there. So, like I said, it was all liquidation, like returns, and
Yeah.
um,
Um,
I wouldn't particularly recommend it.
it depends. I mean, if you have a crew and you can handle it quickly, it could be worth the
Yeah,
time, but you
yeah,
really need processing power for that. Like you need people to process that quickly. You need to be able to get that pallet done in one day, you know? For
yeah.
one person, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of hustle, it's a lot of researching for not that great of a return. But I want to kind of touch on wholesale a little bit because I know there's going to be a lot of questions and we'll cover them. If you have any questions about wholesale after this video is up, leave them in the comments and I'll get to all of them because I know there's going to be a million of them. But wholesale is a lot different than thrifting. It's a lot different than unique goods. It's very competitive. And more importantly, finding a legitimate wholesaler is not easy. And everyone thinks that the person they're dealing with is a wholesaler, and 99% of the time, it's a middleman. First of all, Googling wholesale is not going to find you a wholesaler. It just will not happen. The reason is wholesale hide themselves from the general public, so you can't check what Walmart is paying for goods, so you can't check what Target is paying for goods. So the prices, the actual wholesale price is confidential. That's the way it's meant to be. This is to drive consumers away from looking up prices. I get questions all the time. Oh, I Googled wholesale, and is this place legit? I guarantee for the most part, most results are not going to be legit if you Google wholesale. Now, I've seen someone ask about a wholesale directory. There are a few good wholesale directories, although there are plenty of bad ones as well. I would not recommend SaleWho, who's someone posted about, or like any of those places where you have to pay. Um, I'm a member with Worldwide Brands. I have the lifetime membership. They're okay, and they're one of the best, and they're only okay. Wholesale directory is not even the best way to find wholesalers. If you want to find a wholesaler, here's what you do. You find the product that you want to buy. Find it in Walmart or wherever. Look on the back of that product. There's going to be an official license, and then there's going to be like a brand. You can search either of those. If you do enough research, you'll find out who makes the product. For instance, I'm a member with Jinx. They manufacture 99% of Minecraft goods. If you look on the back of any Minecraft good in the store, it'll say Jinx. You could have easily went to the store, looked that up, and then searched and found Jinx on the internet, and then realized you could wholesale from them. This will happen with most products.
Can I show you an example of that real quick?
Sure.
I've got some shoestrings
Okay.
here. That's something that I've kind of been looking into. Since I sell shoes, I want to also sell some accessories like insoles, laces, things of that nature, some
Yeah.
polish rags, brushes, things like that.
And that makes sense.
Okay, so here's the shoestrings. You can say those say soft sole
Yeah.
on them. That's the brand. And on the back, right here is the information. It says distributed by Impulse Foot Care LLC. It has the address and
Yeah, so there
uh,
you go. So that has
things
the
like that.
right on there, it has the wholesale distribution site for those. So what you would want to do is if you want to buy those, you can try and find the brand, the official brand, and see if they'll sell directly. Usually they're not going to deal with you because you're not going to be able to order $10,000 worth of shoelaces. So then you go to the distributor, who is technically a middleman, but they're middlemen with very low margins, and their whole goal is to distribute the product to stores and other people. Like here's the problem, okay? The order goes like this. There's a creator or a manufacturer. After them is a wholesale distributor. That person or company distributes wholesale goods to stores, resellers, whoever. The problem is there's another guy that sneaks in there in that set. He goes after the distributor and gets stuff sent to him, and then he resells it to you as the distributor. So there's a second markup there. This costs a lot of people a lot of money because they think they're buying legitimate wholesale, and oftentimes
That's the
they aren't.
person you want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to be that middleman, the guy that goes in there and gets it from the distributor.
Yeah, and then sell it to your customers or whoever. Even if you become the middleman and you're reselling it to resellers, at least you're in that spot. If you're not in that spot, your margins are getting cut really low. And the other issue is it becomes very competitive because margins are being cut all over the place. For instance, I have wholesale goods at Amazon FBA right now, and the profit margin on those items are between $3 and $1 per item, and that's with the wholesale price. And I'm getting it from a legitimate distributor. Wholesale is very cutthroat. But if you want to get into it, you're looking for legitimate wholesalers, you have questions, go ahead and ask, and I'll make sure and help you out. I am a member with like 6 very reputable wholesale distributors. 4 of them are in video games, and the other 2 deal with card games, board games, and hobby stuff. And I seen Paul. I see you in the chat trying to hustle magic cards from someone. The other thing people are mentioning they want us to talk about, I don't know if you do this much, are yard sales, garage sales, flea markets. Let's talk about that because that's one of my favorites, and I think it's a good option for most people. Do you hit flea markets or anything when it's warm out?
No, I don't.
Not at all?
No, I've maybe been to one in the last year.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's
I've
crazy.
considered selling at a flea market.
Well, you might do well there. The good thing is if you sell at a flea market, you can often buy at the flea market because you just become friends with everyone.
Right.
That's just kind of flea markets are really homey. They're kind of a nice place. If you go there every week, you'll become friends with a lot of people. It's kind of a good place to shop because you feel more at home than a thrift store, you know?
Yeah.
You kind of meet the same people. You're helping support their stands. Those people are hustlers just like you. They're trying to sell stuff out of their garage or whatever. So, for
But at the
me,
same time, you're trying to hustle them.
yeah, but they understand that. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing to do is flea markets. You and I talked about this the other day. The
Hmm.
reason I like flea markets is because, like, when I was a kid, my grandfather always took me to flea markets. That's how he shopped for a lot of stuff. When I grew up, it just kind of became my thing. You can go to flea markets, get hundreds of dollars worth of video games for $50, fill up your whole trunk, go home, list them, make a ton of money. Um, and for me, like my whole life has been spent doing flea markets, so I really enjoy it. Now, I talked to you about ways to hustle at the flea market, and I feel
Yeah,
like,
some of your buying strategies and
yeah, this will get a
uh,
little controversial, but I'm going to explain it anyways because I'm always up
I don't
front.
think
And
it's
honestly, I
controversial.
don't care. After last week, it doesn't matter. It can't be any worse. Anyways, I wear a jacket with 2 pockets, all right? And I have my wallet in my pants pocket. And this pocket goes $50, and this pocket goes $20, and my wallet is the rest of my cash. Oftentimes, if I go to someone and say they're offering me something for $30, I'll pull out my 20 and offer them that, and basically go along the lines that that's what I have to spend. Now, in most cases, people at the flea market are willing to just sell it cheaper. If they give you a hard time, this is what I do. I just start to walk away. I act like I'm not interested. 99% of the time, that person is going to call you back and deal with you for the $20 you offer them. For me, there's always a strategy to hustle to get things cheaper, and that's what reselling is all about. Because at the end of the day, every cent you can save helps your margins online, and online there's a lot of extra overhead that's not at a flea market too. If people are interested in selling in flea markets, say something because I'd be interested to hear about that a little bit. I know you just mentioned it. I'm not sure like if it's consistent income or not, depending on how big your flea market is. How like have you looked at your local stands prices and stuff, or is it pretty
Yeah,
cheap?
it's really not that bad. It's only $20 a day or $50 for the weekend.
Oh, okay. So yours is actually more expensive than mine, and we have one of the largest ones on the whole East Coast. Ours is like it's $7 a day for a small stand, $10 for a large stand, which is like a
Nice.
15 by 15 area,
Awesome.
and there's like pavilions and stuff you can go under.
That's
Are there
pretty
any other
fun.
sourcing options you want to go over? Like we talked about online. I guess we could talk about retail arbitrage a little bit. Have you done that at all?
Yeah, I have done some retail arbitrage, but I feel like I spend so much time in the stores, and I rarely find a really good item, and so I really don't do it a whole lot. I try to look up online arbitrage a lot more than I do retail.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
I
actually
did
gonna grab some
recently
stuff
get
that
a
I got
shipment
this
of
week
stuff
at
that
Walmart.
what was that?
I'm gonna grab some stuff I got this week at Walmart so I can show it to everyone.
Okay,
I'll be right
and
back.
that was actually my recent online arbitrage was from Walmart.com. I found it was only one item, and I picked up I think it was 4 or 5 of them, and I spent like 50, $60. It was enough to get free shipping, and I had it delivered to me for free, and I just sent them right back to Amazon FBA. and sell them. This particular item I bought for $15, and they sell for 35 on Amazon FBA. So that's what I got. I'm not going to tell you what it is
Well, I'm about
because
to
I
tell
think
you
it's a
everything I
particularly
got,
decent
so
item.
here we go with
Do
the being
what?
transparent. I'm probably going to get competitors now because of this. Um, I took my mom to learn how to retail arbitrage earlier this week, which I've talked about. And we went to Walmart, and I didn't expect to find much. I never find anything doing retail arbitrage. I found a bunch of shit, actually. I got ungated in the food category on Amazon, which a lot of people might not know, which I'll talk about in my FBA update this week. So if you don't check it out, every other Thursday, I go over my FBA sales, exactly how much money I made, how many units I sold. I like transparent everything. You can see my exact numbers. But anyways, always look for special edition cookies, people. Is that it looks backwards in there, but special edition cookies, no joke, they're selling for about 4 times the price they were at Walmart. I'm sending
You know,
cookies.
I've heard the
Yeah.
same for coffee, like holiday coffee.
Yeah. Here we go. This is a really awesome find. It's some kind of VTech charger. It's kind of hard to see with the light there. VTech charger paid $5, 35 at FBA.
Nice, that's awesome.
But here's the best score. I got like 40 of these air conditioned filters, 50 cents a piece, selling as a duo on Amazon for $12.99. So
Nice.
a buck in cost, getting $12.99 back.
Is that regular price there at your Walmart, or were they on
No,
sale?
this is all clearance stuff. I just went through clearance. Well, the cookies were regular priced. Everything else was clearance. I found some Schwinn
I go
bike
to the
tires,
clearance
like
aisle.
training wheels. You know Schwinn, the bike company?
Yeah.
I found some training wheels for like $4 a pack. They're selling for like $12, $13 a pack on Amazon. So I got a bunch of stuff actually. I thought I wasn't gonna be able to source there, so I might start going to Walmart a little more, checking it out. Everyone says they can't find anything. I found a ton of stuff. We only spent $100, and I'm gonna make $700 off everything we got, honestly.
Nice. That's
And
great.
that's gross. Obviously, it's not profit. But I mean, even if we
Yeah.
made $200 on $100, that's fine with me. Um,
Yeah.
so retail arbitrage, I don't like it because when I scan, I feel like everyone is staring at me, like they know what I'm doing. I'm like, stop staring at me. Like the workers are looking at me, like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But
I don't ever care, man. I do what I got to do.
to those of you that
People
are
are
in the
looking at
retail
me, it's
arbitrage
whatever.
game that are posting all the time in my videos saying it's not possible to make a full-time living on retail arbitrage, it is possible. Some people just recently talked about it on a different reselling show. But you have to hustle. You need to go to multiple stores a day. You need to be in there constantly. You need to have a scan fob so you're efficient. And you got to really hustle. You can't just like go one time and go, "Oh, I didn't find anything. This sucks ass." Like you have to put in effort.
Yeah.
I'm going to start going through questions here because there's quite a few, and I'll read them off and we can both talk about it. Drop ship or no? Yeah, that's something we need to talk about. So, what are your thoughts on drop shipping? Because I'm going to have a very long opinion on this.
uh, I I'll be honest. I haven't done a whole lot of research about drop shipping, but I don't like the idea overall. I feel like at least when you go through those companies like DS Domination and things like that, where they're like, "Oh, we'll teach you how to do drop shipping and
Yeah.
hook you up with some suppliers or whatever." I
Giant
don't
pyramid
think that's
scheme.
a good idea. However, I think that it can be good if you're working direct with the distributors. If if you or the manufacturer, if they're saying list my stuff, you sell it, and you can keep some of it, then that's a different thing. If they're keeping up with the inventory and telling you how much is left, then that's great. But I hear a lot of the problems with drop shipping is you run out of stock. Someone buys something
Yes.
from you and there's nothing there, and you end up getting kicked off of eBay because of multiple occasions of doing this. Um, at the same time, you're not uh, you're not in control of your shipping, so you can't make sure that it's out same day, next day, or within 2 days. Um, so that's out of the question. I just don't like that. The only thing that's acceptable for me when doing shipping is FBA because they're gonna do it for you.
Yeah, for me, I obviously everyone knows this. I have a video, so if you're watching this and you haven't seen the video, go look it up after this event. Um, it's literally titled "My Thoughts on Drop Shipping." I hate drop shipping with a passion. I think it's the dumbest thing. And here's why. Yes, you can make money from drop shipping, but the profit margins are dirt poor, they're horrible, and the risk is super high. Low margins and high risk is not a good combination. If you're going to go high risk, go private label or something and get good margins off of it at least. Like, don't waste your reputation, your account on drop shipping. Most of the time, the main issue is drop shippers don't give a shit about your customer. All they care is that you're going to get the money to them. And if they're out of stock and they don't relay it to you and your customer isn't happy, they don't care because most of them don't deal with the customer anyways. So from their end, all they care about is getting the quick money. And the reason is, even if you leave because they screwed you over and they ruined your account, someone else will come by and drop ship in a couple weeks and do the same thing, and they'll get their money out of it. So for me, it's a very selfish business. It's very cutthroat, and the margins are so low, it is not worth your time. The only time drop shipping would be even manageable is if you had a team of people repricing, restocking, double checking everything constantly. And if you're at that point, then you shouldn't be drop shipping anyways.
Right. And having to pay that staff, the margins would be absolutely terrible. You'd have no money for yourself.
DB asked, do you guys go to garage sales? I go quite often in the summer. I live in Ohio, so the winter is pretty long and vicious. So it's a pretty short garage sale season. George, you said you don't really hit that kind of stuff often?
I don't hit flea markets, but garage sales I will do on a semi-regular basis. Maybe every other weekend or something. I'll try to find a few near me and go hit them up.
Have you ever found any good shoes at garage sales? Because like when I go, I always look for video games, books, and then I just get out of there. And usually I don't scan. People get mad if you're a reseller at garage sales. I do not know why they get so pissed. They're trying to sell their shit, and they get mad if you're trying to buy it.
Yeah, it's funny. I see that more on Facebook groups where people are upset that you plan on reselling it or something. I don't care. I'll tell them if they ask, what are you going to do with that? Oh, I'm going to sell it on eBay. Oh, okay, cool. Then when you're face to face, usually they won't voice their opinion. But on Facebook and groups, they're like, that's wrong. Why are you doing that? I hate it. It's not fair. I did something nice. I sold it for cheap, and he's turning around and taking advantage of me. Well, that's your fault for selling it cheap.
I agree. I always blame the initial seller for not doing their research. It's never the buyer's fault. And I've got nasty messages, and I've seen people get nasty messages on eBay because they bought something and resold it on eBay. Yeah. What that person, and if you're that person, you have no right to be mad at them. You didn't do the research to find its value. That's your fault. That's not their fault. They're just doing what they do. They hustle. That's how you make a living. Like, it's not their fault you didn't get top dollar when you initially listed it.
Right. And another
thing
I'll say is, well, look, man, I fixed it up. I made it better, and I'm selling it for more money. So, for example, Goodwill, they might sell their shoes for $7, $10, or something like that, but I'm not going to sell them the way that they are usually. I'd say half the time. I'd say I clean half the shoes that I get. So, I'm improving them most of the time. I'm cleaning them up, getting the mud off the bottoms, getting rocks out of the tread, polishing them, whatever it is. I'm making the product better to resell for more money.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point as well, because a lot of people don't put the care into like what you're doing into reselling. A lot of people flip things quickly, so they might not, take the time to do that.
Right.
KBA asks, Mike, do you have any wholesale sources in your area? How did you find the first one? I do have two wholesale. Well, let's not call them wholesalers. They're more liquidators, but they liquidate only brand new goods, not pallets and stuff. So they're kind of like a wholesaler. Their prices are a little higher. I posted to see if viewers were interested in buying from them. I would just send it to them directly, and most people didn't like the margins. I found my first wholesaler with a lot of research and a lot of time and a lot of mistakes because I used to go through middlemen. Then I realized the margins weren't good. I realized I was being ripped off. And then I must have seen a video or something back in the day that made me realize, wait a minute, there's an extra guy in this chain. This isn't right. There's someone you can buy it from. And I actually did exactly what I told everyone, and no one listens to me when I tell you this. Go find the product you want to sell, look on the back, and 99% of the time, the place you need to contact is on there. They might not have an exact number, address, or website, but their name is on there. And that's what
I
I did. I
usually
found
see
a
the address.
what?
I usually see the address.
Sometimes not. Sometimes the address is the manufacturer and not the distributor. But that's what I did. I found a product I wanted to sell, and at the time, I don't remember what it was. A lot of people don't know I started out selling knives, pocket knives, not video games. So it
Yeah.
could have been knives at the time, and I went through middlemen with knives for a long time before I ever realized that I wasn't dealing with a wholesaler. Um, Hammer asked, "Do you use Alibaba?" I'm pretty sure you haven't really dealt with any Chinese imports, right, George?
I've looked I've looked on the site and tried to find some good deals, but usually after shipping costs or something like that, it's not enough for me to want to deal with. So I've
Okay.
usually avoided altogether. But no, I've never made a purchase from Alibaba or AliExpress.
I have right now. I have a couple of trade requests on Alibaba. I'm waiting to see if they'll manufacture some products I'm interested in. I have no interest in buying products that are already on the site because they're all already saturated markets. I'm looking
Right.
for a specific manufactured product that is unique and that I want to have my brand on. So I do deal with them, but I'm waiting for quotes. I don't actually buy through them right now. I have purchased something through them in the past. They were accessories for video games, and the transaction went really smooth and the price was really good. Richard asks, is it difficult to cut a deal with a video game distributor? An actual video game distributor, yes, it's pretty difficult. First of all, I just posted in the group about this. Brand new video games have a profit margin of $3 to $5 per $50 purchase, okay? A lot of people don't realize this. One unit will cost $55. The profit is $5. That's nothing. After shipping, you're making $2 a unit. GameStop, my cousin runs a GameStop. They make between $5 and $3 per pre-ordered game. So you don't want to deal with a video game distributor if you're buying brand new video games, unless you're dealing with like DS games and stuff. They have a little better margin. But a legitimate uh, real video game distributor, which I'm members with two of them. One is in the West Coast and one is in the East Coast. They're very hard to get into. They do like credit checks, business like background checks. They contact your bank. It's very in-depth process. Luckily, I'm used to it, so I've gotten accepted pretty quick. If you want to deal with companies like Wizards of the Coast and Mattel and these companies, Legos, like you need some serious credentials to get in with these people. Legos, you have to have a brick and mortar store doing like over $150,000 in Lego sales a year to even get accepted.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not to mention capital. You've got to have capital to do that because, like you said, the profit margin on retail prices is pretty low most of the time.
Yeah, you need a busy store already built up, and then you get to go to that point. Um, Is Jinx giving you a reasonable profit? Yes, yes, they are. They have pretty good profit margins for being pretty mainstream. Minecraft is huge and very popular, so there's lots of people buying it. More importantly, I have net 30 terms with Jinx and a very good relationship with their sales reps, so they've always really helped me out. They actually helped my business grow a lot throughout the Christmas season by lending me, items before I paid for them. Chris B asked, Mike and George, have you ever went to the Goodwill outlet? Chris, I'm pretty sure you missed the beginning of the show. George goes there quite often. He talked about it pretty thoroughly. So if you want to rewatch the video once it's aired, you can watch that section. Um, I don't know if
Yeah,
we
I
don't really
talked
want to
about
touch
that.
too much on it again, but George goes there often. My nearest one is over 2.5 hours away, so I don't go there. Paul says mom and pop thrift stores really suck around here. My area, they're really good, but George, you said they're pretty bad in your area as well.
Yeah, it depends on where you go. Some of them are more boutique type places, and yeah, they're going to be more expensive.
You said that Macklemore's hipster friends took over the market, right?
Yeah, yeah, they did. Um, but there's other places that are pretty good. They're actually doing it for charity and whatnot. Um, I've found some Allen Edmonds and stuff. Oh, there's another good brand, Allen Edmonds. Excellent brand to look out for. They can bring in anywhere between 60 and 130 bucks or something like that, depending on what they are.
And those are
Specifically, the
shoes?
walnut colors. Do what?
Those are shoes?
Yeah, Allen Edmonds shoes.
Oh, okay. One second, I'm looking something up that someone posted about 1898. A lot of new offers. Mr. Sadie, you asked about that product on Amazon that's a Barbie or whatever. I just looked it up. First of all, there's over 73 brand new listings. I would stay away from that item if you can, although it has a good rank. If it's selling for $18.99, you're going to want to get it for $3 to $4 tops, I would say, with that many competitors. All right, so I think I covered all the questions. You can double check in case I missed something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think we covered most sourcing topics. I don't think there's anything we missed too much. Like I said, if you guys want to source online, make sure you sign up for Gixin. That's not like some paid placement. It's a free program to snipe auctions. It'll help you a lot getting stuff on eBay.
Do you ever check out listings that end in the middle of the night?
Oh, yes. See, that's a good topic.
That's another thing.
I search at 3 a.m. in the morning almost every time. 3 a.m. is when I look for ending soonest. Anything ending within a couple-hour period there's no one around bidding on it unless they're sniping as well. So I always search really early in the morning or late at night, and that way there's no one looking except for, resellers, really. That's a good point. I never really put much thought into the time. I always do things based on when there's less people or more people. I try to post videos when there's a lot of people online. I try to bid and win things when there's no one online, which is typically early in the morning, late at night.
Yeah.
Are there any other sourcing things you guys want us to cover? I think we went over it pretty well. Like I said, if you have questions about wholesale. What?
I was just saying, yeah, let us know if you guys have any questions.
I want to make sure we're good. We're up to like 30 viewers, so thanks so much for hanging out. If you guys missed the first part of the show, it will be on the channel after it is over.
If you guys have any suggestions on future hangouts, let us know.
Yeah, any suggestions, feedback, if you want to follow us, the links are down below the video. George's channel's down there as well. But if we're not getting questions, we're probably going to wrap up then.
Yeah, man. Well, have you found any really good items this week?
My sourcing has been I found everything we talked about at Walmart, and then I got a lot of video games off eBay, which was decent. I showed you it. I don't really have a way to share it with everyone right this second, but it has one really rare accessory for the Sega Genesis, which is the converter, which lets you play like different games in it, and I got the price of the lot was like $60 or $70. The converter's worth $99 to $120, and then there's like 20 extra games and accessories, so it's all profit from there. My video on Thursday will be updated with the Walmart purchases and that, so everyone can see exactly how it went. My FBA sales are doing really well. I don't know how many people who are watching have been doing FBA, but it's been really steady for me. It's been really consistent sales.
Cool. I found it's a Sirius radio part.
Okay.
I don't remember what the part number is, but I found it at the Weigh and Pay, and it goes for over $100 on Amazon FBA.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you're having a lot of luck at Weigh and Pay. I wish mine was closer. It's so far. I'm going to move just so I can live next to it.
Go spend the day. I would definitely recommend here's something I want to talk about. Whenever you go to the Weigh and Pay, be prepared. Like, go hydrated. Go, with some food in your tummy.
Okay, Mom.
Because you're gonna do what?
I said, okay, Mom. Did you eat today?
It's good advice. You're gonna be there and you're gonna spend some time and you're gonna get hungry. I've done it. I'm like, oh man, I'm only here for 2 hours and I'm getting hungry and I don't even want to be there anymore. And I'm like, geez, I need to do this. I need to keep going. So go. Don't go hungry. Eat some food and take gloves because the crap there is dirty.
Yeah, I hear it, and there's sharp things
definitely want to take some gloves.
Okay, so a couple of questions. What do you guys think about tracking costs? Do you use QuickBooks? I think we both use PHP Point of Sale now,
Yeah,
which is like a third-party point of sale program you can download on your computer, or you can use the cloud version. I think it's $30 a month now. It has gone up. Brett said, "Great hangout. Thanks so much, Brett, for hanging out. We appreciate it."
yeah, it's
And
been
there
fun.
was
I
one
like.
question down here. Where did it go? Okay, I lost it. Oh, there it is. Do you sell any used clothing on eBay? I know you sell mostly shoes. Do you deal with clothing at all, or not really?
Yeah, I've got some shirts. I've probably got about maybe a dozen shirts listed. Most of them are Polo, Ralph Lauren, and like Brooks Brothers. Other brands I look for is Pendleton. Um, can't think of can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I know there's several. I actually have a Google Drive document that I have on my phone, and before I go check out the shirts, I review it. I look, okay, I need to look for these brands,
Oh,
and I'll
okay,
pick
that's
them out.
smart.
Yeah,
Where'd you get the list? Did you make it, or did you get it from someone?
I'm particularly made that list. I made
Gotcha.
that list, and I made a necktie list because I also sell neckties. And I still have a shoe list, which I don't really use very often anymore because I've memorized it. Um, I know what sells well for me. But I made a necktie list of brands and I made a shirts list of brands. They're all on Google Drive.
That's smart to be able to have a list with you. Me, I do sell used clothing. If you watch my video that was put up today, I go over some stuff I sold on eBay. I'm trying to stay away from eBay a little more and deal more in FBA. Jay has a question for you. He said, "How much per pound is your weigh and pay?"
$1.39.
$1.39 per pound. So that's quite a bit more than Chris's. KBA asks, "Is Gixxon reliable?" Yes, it's been very reliable for me. Sue said, "How long does it take you to flip your shoes? And what do you think of Marina and Cole Haan shoes?"
Marina? I'm not familiar with Marina.
Or Morona? I'm sorry.
Marona? That's a Target brand.
Oh, okay.
Let
So
me look at the.
yeah, you can look
Let
at
me
the
get
feed. I'm
questions.
just it's specifically
I
aimed
got
at you.
you.
Andrew, you can find a Weigh and Pay just by
Oh, here
Googling
we
like
go.
the outlet or for Goodwill or Weigh and Pay. Usually every area kind of has one in its vicinity. It can be quite far for some people.
Okay, Sue, to answer your question, shoes are kind of a long tail item, so they can sell within the month that you list them or 3 to 4 months. It just depends on the shoe and um, the size. Sometimes if you get an extra large pair or a small pair, sometimes it'll take a little bit longer to sell. Uh, but Morona shoes, those are a Target brand. I would definitely stay away from them. Cole Haans usually do well. I would get a Cole Haan shoe depending on the price.
All right, cool. I think we covered just about everything. I want to make sure we didn't miss anything, and then we're going to wrap up. I'm going to shout out everyone real quick. Big shout out to Paul B, Andrew, Sue, KBA, Royals J. Make sure I don't miss anyone so I don't get a bunch of hate. Hammer, Richard, Michael, Chris, and Mr. Sadie. I really appreciate all the support, guys. I know most of you are from the channel, so thanks so much for hanging out with us. I hope you had a good time. Seems like a lot of people liked it. And we always try to hang out and answer questions because I know people have a ton of questions and I can't always get to them. So thanks so much for hanging out. We had a good time. The show is exactly an hour, so perfect.
Yeah, great. I really liked the show. I enjoyed it. Again, if you guys have any suggestions for future hangouts, any topics, let us know. Write them in the comments in either the chat feed or the video comments itself. Let us know what you think. Bye
All right, so that concludes, guys. Thanks so much. Adios.
bye. Have a good one.